Welcome to a new Team CGC 9.8 video. Today I have a new batch of key issue 9.8 comics that are dropping in value. But should you get in there and kind of buy them now? That's what we'll sort of go through each one on the video here. First one up, it's a Star Wars 42, the Bounty Hunter issue. First appearance of Boba Fett and other bounty hunters. Big part of the Empire Strikes Back storyline and adaptation for Star Wars comic books. So kind of an interesting price history on this one with the Book of Boba Fett show and everything like that. We'll get into that in a moment, but 381 9.8s on the census, a 1 of 381 in a blue label, and 8.5% is the 9.8 ratio. It's been kind of a while since I checked in with the Star Wars 42 on the census, and when I initially purchased mine, which was like 3 years ago or so, it was like 10 or 11% on the census, the 9.8 ratio. The lower the better on the 9.8 ratio, so of all graded copies, only 8.5% are 9.8. So it's a tough 9.8, a big Star Wars key issue, so you'd expect the price to be up there. But this one absolutely dropping in value from some of the prices I was seeing in kind of December and January. This one's been on a bit of a roller coaster over the last few years, but so interesting. It was like early January, seeing a few completed listings on eBay, 3,206. Saw one sell for $3,700. So just to give you an idea, right now, show how much this has cooled down. There's one on eBay that's not selling. It's in Canada as well. A direct edition, looking pretty good as well in a new case for $2,950. And that's like a buy it now, ready to buy right now. And this is when in January, a few of them were selling for $3,700 and $3,206. And there's one on eBay right now for $2,950. So this one is absolutely dropping in value. You know, I think right now at that $2,950 price that you can get one in a direct edition, that's about the same price as like an Amazing Spider-Man 238 in a 9.8. I feel like this one might cool down just a little bit more. There's still like, I'm pretty sure all the episodes have been released for the Book of Boba Fett. I could be wrong on that, but still maybe a little bit of hype for Boba Fett. So I think over the next 6 or so months, you know, the Book of Boba Fett's going to be done. There's going to be other shows that people are anticipating. This one could cool down just a little bit more. And you know what, like in the direct edition, 2,500, maybe a little bit under, I think is kind of the price target to aim for. But, you know, if you're the biggest Boba Fett fan, you know, that 2,950, the one on eBay that you could buy right now is much better than kind of getting in there when, you know, Book of Boba Fett's going to be coming out and they were 3,700. So one that's dropping in value, and maybe you just want to wait a little bit more. I think you'll save a few more $100 and you can get this one closer to 2,500. Over the next kind of 6 to 12 months. But Star Wars 42, just a no-brainer. Big key issue in Star Wars. That is pulling back in price. Okay, next one. An XMan number 11. For me, yeah, this one noticing some softness in the prices from kind of like a year ago. And that's for most books, but this one did do quite well, certainly kind of a year or two ago. We'll go over the price history in a moment. But for me, this is kind of the new Team X-Men cover to get. Kind of just, you know, super classic cover, and like by new team meaning like you get Gambit and Jubilee in there. Yeah, Jubilee's right up here. Classic Jim Lee cover, of course. Yeah, X-Men 11 is just a really eye-appealing cover to collect, certainly if you're a Jim Lee fan or an X-Men fan. 521 9.8s in a blue label, a 1 of 521, 66.3%, the 9.8 ratio, so not a really tough 9.8. Keeps it affordable for sure. So mine, grabbed mine in 2020. It was probably early 2020 for a $125, and it was a buy it now. So it wasn't like a screaming deal. Like you'd wait on an auction on this one back then, and you could get it under $100 or like kind of $90 to $100. I kind of just like this one, a good centering, good color on it as well. So just kind of went for it at $125. This one kind of sailed up to, you know, $225. I absolutely saw a few sell. I think even kind of $250 to $275, a few sold. This was sort of a year ago at kind of the peak of the hot comic book market, admittedly. But recently, $155.73 and $159.99. So you know what? This one's dropping in value. I think if you like this one like I do, if you're a Jim Lee fan, an X-Men fan, you can get in there right now at $155.73. That lowest sales price, I think, is an absolute price target to aim for on an X-Men number 11. Pretty cool, affordable one. That's dipping in value a little bit. Should be good there. Okay, next one here. Big key issue. Ooh. kind of hard to get two of these to stand up. Sorry about that. Okay, we'll kind of move on here. Next one, a Batman Beyond #1. So a really great one in a 9.8, I think. First appearance of Terry McGinnis, Batman Beyond in this one. And yeah, this one came out in 1999. A really tough one that in 1999, pretty much in the kind of middle of the comic book recession when comic book printing really started to tail off. So I think this one's not a very heavily printed one. You know, it's like a WB Kids book too, so I feel like people weren't really keeping this one in the greatest condition, and ends up being a pretty fantastic 9.8. But it is dropping in price. Yeah, we'll get into prices in a moment. $349 9.8s in a blue label, and this is the first print Batman Beyond #1, not like the origin issue or anything like that. This is kind of the one to get if you're a big Batman Beyond fan. 28.2%, the 9.8 ratio. That 9.8 ratio is absolutely going in the right direction. It's ticking down over time. This is pretty much a modern comic book, so anything in the 20% is going to be really fantastic, I would say. Used to be like 35 or so when I had bought mine, but I think people are sending these into CGC and not a lot of them are getting 9.8, so that's good to see. 28.2%, the 9.8 ratio right now. Saw one sell on Comic Link just in the last week or two for $1,906. This is one at that kind of peak of the comic book market a year or two ago. There were a few sales that were like really surprising. It was like $2,700 and like really surprising sales. To kind of coincide in that too, there was like a DC event where people were speculating that they were gonna announce a Batman Beyond movie, and then that didn't happen. But leading up to that one, it was like $2,700, like some of the prices. So much better time to purchase this one now with some sales going under $2,000. Yeah, you know what? Just how tough this one is, and you know, kind of definitely like the new first appearance of the new Batman, essentially. If you kind of think Batman Beyond's really cool and you kind of accept him as the new Batman of the future, I think this is one to pretty much get in there under 2,000 in a 9.8, with it just being a really tough 9.8 in the modern age. Big first Batman appearance. And yeah, this is one, yeah, it's dropping in value now, but 3 years ago I grabbed both of mine. One was like 400, one was 450. So they went all the way up to 2,700 and something, and now they're kind of pulling back, and it's just one that is trending up over the long term, and one to consider as it's dropping right now. Okay, next one is definitely one that's been on the roller coaster and it is really plummeting in value right now, I would say. It's Champions #1 from 2016, first appearance of the new Champions. I did mention this one, it was quite a while ago on a few kind of modern comic book videos to recommend some modern 9.8s. And at the time, this one was kind of right around $100, maybe a little bit under, and I thought, like, you know, first new Champions, you got Miles Morales in this team and stuff like that. There's probably some potential there for sure. From that point, it was under 100. I think there were some sales that were right around $300, and this would have been about a year ago. Recent prices on this Champions #1 right now, $82 in an auction and $97 in an auction in a 9.8. So this one went from like $50 or $60 all the way up to $300. Now it's like $82 or $97. And like one of the negatives for this one, there's no real like first appearance. It's just like the first new Champions. So like all the new heroes are kind of coming together to form the Champions. So no, you know, big first appearance, which is a bit of a negative. There's a 904 9.8s in a blue label, and 82.3% is the 9.8 ratio. So you know what? Now, you know, it was 300. Now it's under 100. I think in this price range, it's a good one to consider, but maybe I sort of overestimated some of the potential for this one with there not being a big first appearance. And you know, I'm sure they're going to come with like a Miles Morales sort of standalone live action movie before they bring him into like a team kind of thing. So you know, maybe Champions #1 will be a great one in like 10 years. Maybe they do something like the Avengers, but Champions with Miles Morales and the new kind of batch of heroes. Then I see a lot of upside for this one, but that's going to take a while for it to happen. So for this one, yeah, closer to $80 in a 9.8. I think you know, you can get in there right now if you're a big Champions fan, but don't expect too much from this one moving forward. But definitely one dropping in value to consider for sure in the modern age. Alrighty, last one. Amazing Spider-Man 316. Yeah, just a no-brainer Venom key issue for sure to grab. And I think, you know, casual kind of Venom fans, I think they really almost like this one better than an Amazing Spider-Man 300. Certainly if you're a big like 9.8 collector, you know Amazing Spider-Man 300 is really tough in a 9.8. But I was just recently speaking with like a Venom fan, and like he was more psyched about my Amazing Spider-Man 316s in the 9.8 than the 300s. So yeah, Amazing Spider-Man 316 is just a go-to Venom collector item. And it was really hot. You know, about a year ago, the hot comic book market mixed in with like Let There Be Carnage is coming in the theater. So this one got really high. And we'll go through some prices that you can kind of expect to get it through now in some of the price history. But 1,342 9.8s in a blue label, 21.6%, the 9.8 ratio. So I mentioned on this one, like maybe not the toughest 9.8, but then the cover just makes up for it for sure. So prices recently on an Amazing Spider-Man 316, 1,199, kind of near the higher end of the range I'm seeing. You go back a little bit, like, you know, about a month or a month and a half, I saw some auctions, $963.53, $975.51. I think you do pretty great to get it under $1,000 currently. I think the market has kind of bounced up a little bit from January, and even this one still might have been a little bit hot from the Let There Be Carnage movie. But certainly during that hot comic book market, I'm pretty sure a few of these went for $2,000, and definitely they were like 1,600, 1,700 for a good like month or two there, with maybe a few sales popping up around $2,000. So now they're about 1,000. If you're the biggest Venom fan, I think, you know, a little over 1,000, maybe even up to that 1,199 that one had sold for if it's just looking great in a direct edition. I think that's a price target to aim for on Amazing Spider-Man 316. One that is dropping, but over the, like, you know, in the short term, but over the long term, it's trending up, and probably one you want to grab on the cool down, I would say. Just a big no-brainer Venom key issue, and certainly McFarlane fans are going to be collecting this one as well. All right, I'll kind of give up on standing them up straight. All right, just 5 quick ones that are dropping in value, and ones to keep an eye on for sure. Certainly a better time to buy them now than it was like a year ago, and most of these are kind of no-brainer key issues, so probably want to keep an eye on them as they're cooling down, and maybe even buy them if you don't have them in a 9.8 for sure. All right, team, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. If you're liking my content, please subscribe and hit that bell, and I'll keep you updated on future videos.